weekly training call. We appreciate everybody making their time available early this morning. We do have a bit of a switch as a result of some technical things, and then also it seems like based on some calls we've had in this over the last couple of weeks that maybe this is a good time to cover this. So we're actually going to switch and spend some time today talking specifically about the three moving parts, if you will, of Mutual of Omaha's inflation option structure. And as always, we're on lecture mode, which means that everybody's muted. Dave can take questions during the presentation. We'll open it up at the end for a broader Q&A. We are recording this. The recorded version will be made available to Tracy later today, so she can get it onto the website if you want to turn around and take more of a look at it. So let me get this going here. We'll spend some time talking about the three moving parts. We'll talk also about the two hard stops and how that fits together. We're going to show you some slides you've probably not seen before about how this is all put together to make long-term care affordable. We won't spend much time on underwriting a new business. We know that you're all familiar with that stuff here. We also will spend some time relatively early in the presentation looking at the custom-designed Mutual of Omaha software and show you some things that you may not be aware, some tools and tricks with that can help you out. I know that most of you use StrataCision at least as a starting point, but we want you to be be aware of the tools that this makes available. A couple quick things on Mutual. I answer questions from agents about why Mutual by telling them it's the best combination of carrier and product in the marketplace, we feel. We do have a little bit of bias. We did help build we were part of the design team that put this thing together, but really if you look at carrier strength and stability, this is a company that's been around for forever. I tell folks all the time, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom was one of two television shows that was on in every household in America back in the 60s on Sunday night. The other one, by the way, your trivia question for Tuesday, the other one of those shows was Walt Disney. And I think it was called The Wonderful World of Disney back in those days. Strong, stable, secure. We do have some collateral specific to that. Great brand name recognition with the boomers. And we do have a continued role as a product innovator, and the inflation piece that we're going to look at today really kind of touches on that. So just a quick look at how important it is to have a mastery of inflation and how to manipulate it. As you can see, the biggest part of the premium is inflation, and your ability to maneuver that around will be significant key to your success as you go along. Okay, so what we're going to do first is switch over to the software so you all can see that. All right, most of you have probably seen this before. If not, we're going to talk specifically about this area right over here. All right. A lot of questions specific to the inflation term caps and the buy-up and how those two things intersect. So first thing we want to make sure you're aware of is this little number right here. Okay, this chart tells you or gives you a quick look at what is an approved inflation option for partnership purposes. We're talking about Nebraska here. Had to pick a state, we pick one right smack in the center. All right, and what you're seeing here is over here when you look, okay, the lifetime option, obviously good all the way down to 1%. Very innovative. Rob was talking about that a few minutes ago. It's one of those things that lets you move the conversation to a price point where your clients are comfortable, okay? Now the 20-year cap is available and partnership approved from age 56 up. The 15-year cap is available and approved from age 61 up. So what that means is you can sell a 62-year-old couple 3% compound with a 15-year cap, and you'll retain your partnership approval, if you will, or the partnership qualification on that. So this is a great tool if you have a question in a specific state about how this all comes together. You can use this particular tool. Comes in really, really handy. I would also note that down here on the bottom left, just skipping over there real quick, you can see that we have a partnership checkoff right there. All right, if you take that off, and it'll tell you the plan, the way that it's set up here, it qualifies for partnership. All right, selecting it doesn't add any additional premium, so you got to check on that box or you won't get the premiums. So just to make it interesting, this is the opposite of that. If you move down to 1% compound, well, that one we know that still is approved. So let's see here. We're going to go 1% with a 20-year option, and we're going to go to 55. So now the opposite side of the previous notification you got here is if you move outside the partnership parameters, you're going to get a note here that tells you that the selected inflation option is not partnership qualified. Okay? Selected option, not partnership qualified. So these two little yellow stickers, if you will, that get in your way, those are pretty significant in terms of your ability to know very quickly whether you're set up correctly or not set up correctly. All right, so we're going to skip back real quick. Guaranteed buy-up option. This is the first of the two hard stops that I talked about beginning of the presentation. It is a built-in feature on the custom. Okay, doesn't require any underwriting to execute it. It's available on any inflation option less than 5%. And your clients, in a nutshell, they have the option every year to increase their inflation, but they can't exceed the 5% total. Now, the hard stops on this one, that offer expires at the earlier, as you can see, of ownership of the policy for 20 years or when they reach the age of 75. So that means your client has the ability without underwriting to buy more benefit by virtue of inflation at any point in time. And when we talk to clients, we talk to them about they move through the cycle where they're paying for kids and college and daughters and weddings and things like that. Everything stabilizes. The money stabilizes. Now they decide they want to move from 3% compound to 3.5%. They can do that at the policy anniversary without underwriting, and it's attained age premium on the increased amount only. It's complicated math to get to that. We do have the ability to show you how to do that. We're not going to do it today because it will be bouncing all over the place, but it's what they call a sliver premium. It's just that little bit that's from 3 to 3.25% at, they bought it at 55 and they execute that at 62. Okay, they're getting charged the age 62 rate, but only on that 1/4 point inflation move. The base premium stays the same. Okay, so that's the first of the two. We'll back up. We don't want to get into the middle of this thing here. So the first of the two. Now the second, I'm going to scoot back to the software to show you this because it'll make more sense this way. The second of the two hard stops is right here, and that is the caps, all right? And they show as inflation term, but we refer to them as caps. And what it means is that in conjunction with the buy-up, because this doesn't supersede the buy-up, you can sell your client inflation that will grow for either 10, 15, or 20 years. And of course, you have the lifetime inflation option as well. So if you find yourself in a situation with this 61-year-old couple where that, we're going to do some quick move in here to get to something that's a little more reflective. This $3,100 premium right here, that's not going to work for them. All right, it would be $3,700, almost $3,700 right here. That doesn't work. They need to get it moved down. Okay, you put that 20-year cap on there, drops it down to $3,150. That may be a more affordable price point to them. You've got a lot of other different things you can do too. You can move it down to 2.5. A lot of different ways to go about it. But what we're talking about right now is the cap. So you got those three choices: 20-year, 15-year, and 10-year. Now, where we get a lot of the questions is the buy-up intersecting with the cap, all right? Now, the cap stops the inflation, period. It also stops the buy-up. So if you've got a 61-year-old couple we're going to go back to 55. It's better math that way. If you've got a 55-year-old couple, and let's see here, they tweak this a little bit real quick. Thanks for bearing with me. If you have a 55-year-old couple and they buy the 20-year cap, we're going to go 15-year cap. They buy the 15-year cap because that's the price number that works for them. All right. When you reach the end of that 15 years, the inflation growth stops and the guaranteed buy-up stops. All right? So you are stopping not only the growth, but they don't have the ability to buy anymore. Okay, that's that point where those two things intersect. You run into it not too often, to be honest with you, because we have people that we're typically selling in the age 58-year-old age range, and as such, we're not running into too much of that. But if you do get yourself into a situation where you're working with a 15-year cap, you need to understand. You need to understand that when you reach that 15-year point in time, that's going to bring everything to the proverbial screeching halt. All right, we're going to hop back over here, and then now we're going to take a look at these slides. And the big question we get all the time is why we put all the time and energy into something like this. And you can see here why it makes a difference. This is a 55-year-old couple, $4,500 monthly benefit, $150,000, and 90-day inflation period. I think we're getting a lot of background noise off your phone, Rob. Could you *6 near term? Anyway,
I'm on mute, but I will.
Oh, okay. Well, we were getting something from somebody, so okay.
Yeah, I'll *6 it so you know it's not me.
Yeah. All right, thank you. So, what you see here, a lot of different notes out here for this couple. Moving from 5% compound to the 20-year cap saves them $2,700. Going from 3% compound to the 3% 20-year cap saves them $570. Okay, even a small move like 5% lifetime to 4 3/4%, 4.75% lifetime, saves them almost $500. These are meaningful moves when you're talking about working with folks that are trying to squeeze this into a budget that they think is already tight. All right, this does give you a lot of flexibility with this. We talked about some of these things are already highlighted in red and all this kind of stuff. $4% lifetime to 3.5% with a 20-year cap, that's a $1,600 difference. That's a couple savings, but that's still, that's big time. We don't need that right now. So at this point in time, I think we're going to go ahead and open it up here and answer questions. We may have to skip back and forth between the software and the screen here to do so. But Dave, if you'll take it from the bottom, I'll bring it from the top. We'll open everybody up, take questions. Again, if you're not going to engage in the Q&A, please mute your phone or your computer so that we don't have tea kettles boiling and cats meowing and all that other kind of stuff there. So, all right, we got everybody pretty much unmuted. Let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, the way I understood it, I might have missed some. I was kind of running around a little bit. But, okay, so you can't do the buy-up and the inflation fighter of 5% together, or you can't?
No, the buy-up is a built-in. The only option that it won't work on is 5% because 5% is the max.
Okay, and that's right. That's what I had written down in my notes, so what I have written down is correct. Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, great. Good question. Any other questions out there? if you don't do anything else in the aftermath of this, we would suggest strongly that you spend some time with the mutual software and get yourself a feel in terms of round numbers. You don't have to know it to the dime, but get yourself a feel at the difference between 60 and 65. So when you're having these conversations with clients, again, not a specific client, but just in round terms, you can tell them, you know, this move is going to be about $2,800 if we add that 20-year cap for the two of you. I mean, again, significant numbers there, but you don't, well, I'm not really sure how much it's going to be, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. You want to have some idea. I've done this move before. I know it's right around $2,800, $2,700, something like that. That keeps them engaged, and you're not having to zip around and wait. You can drill down by getting into the software and tell them exactly what it is, but in a lot of cases, you haven't reached that point in time transactionally, but you want to keep them engaged with it, and you make sure that they understand that these were put in place specifically to make this affordable for them. So, other questions out there this morning? All right, well, that's pretty much crickets out there, so we appreciate everybody making their time available this morning. If there's not any other questions, we'll go ahead and close everything down. We will process this and get this recorded webinar over to Tracy. She'll get it put up on the website so you have access to it to refer back if you like. And if you don't have the software, load the Mutual Custom Solution software, which I think is like version 3.42. Yes, it is 3.42 at this time. You want to download that one. If you get jammed up at all, you can give Dave or myself a call. We'll be glad to spend a few minutes and walk you through. So, all right, well, no more questions. Thanks, everybody. Rob, thank you. Appreciate your time and helping us wrangle everybody back over this morning. Look forward to helping you out more, folks, and we do appreciate the Mutual of Omaha that you are selling. We're here to help if you need anything else. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks much.
Thanks, Mike.